Welcome to Minute Meta. I am your host, Darth Tedward, and today we're going to be breaking down the top 3 loadouts, so SMGs and long-range weapons. Yes, I said long-range weapons. There is not just ARs in the long-range meta this time for Season 5. So I actually like to wait about 5 to 7 days after the season releases or after there's any sort of massive gun update to see where the meta kind of falls, because a lot of times, yes, the true meta starts to appear, but sometimes people don't have those guns leveled or they don't actually like running those specific weapons. So I try and give you the top 3 of what is inside the meta or extremely closer to competitive with it. With that being said, let's get into it. I'm going to put these in order of 3, 2, 1. The best loadout will actually be at the end, and I actually suggest pairing the SMG and the long-range weapon that I have together because they complement each other. So for the first loadout, I'm going to say the MP40, the classic build that we've been running for like 3 months at this point. The recoil booster short, slate reflector folding, hand stop. You can kind of change this one around if you need a little bit more ADS. You don't need as much recoil control, but that's up to you. The 45 round mag, you have to run the 45 round mag short and recoil booster to get the time to kill on this gun. Subsonic, I actually like pine tar grip. You can change this one around as well, but it helps with recoil control. Perfectionist and quick, along with the Cooper Carbine. The Cooper Carbine is one of the best ARs in the game. It actually has a better time to kill than the Automaton, which is what I have at number 2, but the Automaton is slightly easier to control and a little bit more of a long-range beam. I really think that the MP40 and the Cooper Carbine go well together. The one thing you're going to change from last season, this season, instead of running compressed, which gave it a stupid time to kill, you're actually going to change that to lengthened because they nerfed compressed and it's actually a little bit more difficult to control. But we're still running the same build as last season. Just remember, you want to run the Cooper 45 RS, stippled grip, and brace as your other 3 attachments outside of the Cooper custom 60 round and MX silencer. The Cooper Carbine can be hard to control right at the beginning of its recoil pattern, which is why we're using these 3 attachments to get that under control. After that, it's an absolute laser beam and very easy to control. And at number 2 SMG, we have the Blixen. There's a lot of argument going on what barrel you should run. I suggest the 9-inch Johnson barrel. You can run the 17 with the 52 round mag, but there's so many different negatives to that. I suggest the 9-inch with the 72 round. This thing has great movement speed, fantastic time to kill. If you are an aggressive player, you are going to absolutely love the Blixen. With the 9-inch barrel build, you are going to want to run the Carver foregrip and the Johnson skeletal stock. That way you have a little bit more visual recoil control. Other than that, it is absolutely amazing. The AR that I suggest pairing with this is the Automaton. The Automaton is the meta AR in my opinion. With the Automaton, you're going to be able to beam people at massive, massive ranges. Since we're talking about the Automaton, a lot of people like to run the 3 to 6 on it. Since the 3 to 6 actually got nerfed in A, recoil control, yes, they actually gave you recoil control, and B, it now has glint. There are 2 options that you have to choose from. You can run the 1229 slate 3.25 custom. It still gives you that 3, a little bit more than 3 zoom. Inside of that, you're actually going to want to select the dot reticle. This makes a very clean, the default reticle on this is absolutely horrible. You can upgrade this inside of Vanguard or just by using this site in Warzone very quickly. I did it in like 30 minutes in Vanguard. It does not take long at all. You just have to get some kills. Or if you don't like that and you just want to go with the normal 2.5, you can do that as well. 2.5 has a little bit less visual recoil, so if that's something that bothers you, use a 2.5. If you're on console, use a 2.5. Other than that, you can see the build here. This is the build that I suggest. I love this. It has absolutely 0 horizontal. This entire build is built to get rid of vertical recoil and makes it a laser beam. And at number 1 loadout, I have the PPSH. So this is actually not the quote-unquote meta build PPSH. The meta build PPSH is actually built with the 140 rapid barrel, but if you build it like that, it can be very, very difficult to control. Try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, this is the build that I'm suggesting. This thing is an absolute laser beam. This can be used as a pure SMG. This can be used as a sniper support SMG. I'm beaming people at 50 and 60 meters with this weapon. It does not move. This extra range that the PPSH gives you makes it the perfect pair for what I consider the long range meta, the UGM. The UGM is an LMG that has a little bit slower movement speeds, and so it can have some issues at that short to medium range, like you don't have issues with the Cooper Carbine and the Automaton. So you pair the UGM with the PPSH, and it is the meta loadout this season. It has 125 rounds. It has a slightly slower reload, but the 125 rounds makes it where you can just spray at teams, and it is an absolute menace. Teams will absolutely hate you. This is what I suggest using for this build. There's actually, if you don't have this leveled up, there is a blueprint that you got last season in the battle pass that is almost the meta build. It's very, very close. Just use it while you are leveling up this gun, and it is absolutely perfect for what you're trying to do. So this build of the UGM with this build of the PPSH is what I have as the #1 loadout for Season 5 after Week 1. If this helped you in any way, please make sure you drop a like and subscribe so you can find your way back. Also, we are starting a podcast called COD Pod by Minute Meta. The next episode will be coming out later this week, so make sure you subscribe here and on Spotify if you like listening to your podcast on Spotify. That way you can find it out. Y'all stay out and aim for greatness.